Hello and welcome to Walk the Talk. I am Shekhar Gupta at the campus of National Council of Applied Economic Research in Delhi. And my guest this week, well, an economist, a brilliant economist, who I shall not describe as an establishment economist, although that's a disease in India. That's a species found widely in India.
It is true.
In institutions like these. And somebody the BJP takes very seriously, and I hope continues to keep listening to.
Well, but the UPA takes me seriously too.
Well, Arvind Panagariya. Welcome to Walk the Talk.
Great.
Bhagwati professor at Columbia.
Yes.
Former chief economist at ADB and writer of so many books, including a recent one with Jagdish Bhagwati,
Yes.
India's New Twisted Destiny. And somebody willing to question establishment views even within the intellectual establishment.
Of course.
How tough is that?
So, well, I think, if you believe in integrity and if you believe that you should speak your mind, then it's not so tough. And if you are not looking for a job with the government, then it's even easier.
With this government, or maybe that works better in the next one.
Look, if the next government does do good things, then I will be with them. But if they really don't do the right things, they will get my criticism too. So,
well, since we got set up on this note, on this conversation,
yeah,
describe this economic intellectual establishment to me, the Indian economic establishment.
Well, I mean, throughout, you can take the whole 50-60-year history of post-independence.
I mean, this is an independent think tank, we know.
Yes.
You are a non-resident fellow here, but tell me about this establishment.
Yes, but it is that in our tradition there is not enough of questioning of the policies of the government, and particularly when it comes to these social programs, everybody seems to get around how can you be against the social programs, and particularly when social programs are run by a government which has no real capability to deliver. Even then somehow we don't question. I mean, we criticize, we say that the government can't do this, can't do that, we complain about corruption, and then when somebody says that, oh, this needs to be done, government must do it. But there is a disconnect.
So there is a touching faith in the government.
There is. I mean, it's a strange thing that, you would on the one hand complain that the government is not delivering this right, that right, and look at, what happened in Bihar about the 22 children in the midday meals, etc. Right? I mean, this really reflects gross incompetence in running these kinds of programs. And yet, we would not sit back and say that, well, maybe there is an alternative solution that we could work on. Same objective of doing good to the people at large, reducing poverty.
And do most modern economists know this in India?
Well, this is the problem. I think we are trying to change the narrative as it has existed, and that was very important part of the reason that Jagdish Bhagwati and I wrote this book, India's Twisted Destiny. It really has this framework that we try to take. We take one after the other the various myths that growth doesn't really matter enough, and that it's a redistribution that you have to do poverty, and redistribution by itself can be sufficient to do this, whereas growth really by itself is not going to help. All kinds of these myths that prevail, we one by one demolish, and we demolish with huge amount of evidence and data.
Before we come to the myths, would you say that India's intellectual economic establishment is complicit in perpetuating these myths?
Well, it certainly has not played its role, and it has certainly played along to a large degree.
Why?
And well, I think, from the beginning, left has been pretty strong in India. And we all, intellectually, and in fact, the kind of right that exists in other parts of the world, like the Thatcherite or Reaganite, doesn't even exist in ours, So simply, all of us are, by that metric, left of center. I mean, we all believe in social programs, we all believe in redistribution. Nobody who says that, growth alone will do the trick. And this is partly coming from this old tradition, also the old tradition that somehow the government has to do everything. I mean, we built it into our psyche when we started off on this road first under Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, and then in a big way under Mrs. Gandhi, that the government has to do everything. Industrialization, government has to do it. And by the time Mrs. Gandhi became Prime Minister, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, even we got into tourism, hotels, taxis, all sorts of things which...
Salt, shoes, parachutes, scooters.
I wasn't even aware of that. Scooter trousers, parachutes, I didn't even know.
Parachutes.
Which exactly is something that, private sector can do pretty well.
Salt. Do you know that the company called Hindustan Salts has 40,000 acres of land that it can do nothing with? And now the minister, who's obviously scared of using that land for whatever else, has decided to lease it to BHEL to set up solar power farms.
See, this is, what an enormous waste of the country's resources.
I mean, you are now a senior citizen in your business.
Yes.
As a professional economist. Are you disappointed that more economists have not spoken out on this?
Well, I think, I'm an optimist. I'm an optimist.
Or can I rephrase it? Do you get the sense that too many Indian economists have decided to go along with politics?
Well, some, but I think, if I really believed that this is a kind of lost battle or something, I won't really be making an effort here. But I think minds can be changed. And I'm here in a very long term. I've been writing in the press for 10 years, and I've seen minds change.